Hi there, and welcome to the Salted Pepper, where we cook for real life using real food and we keep it real simple. And today we're going to make a delicious lemon chicken with rosemary, and it's a sheet pan meal. I'm using the Ninja Foodi air fry oven, but you could certainly use a regular oven and just adjust your settings a little bit. So the first thing we want to do, because we want all this to be done at the same time, but we can't start it all at the same time or your chicken will overcook. So before I talk about the chicken, I'm gonna get the potatoes ready. And what I have here are 4 small red potatoes. You could use white potatoes, you could use russet potatoes, you can use any type of potato you want. I'm using 12 ounces because I'm also focusing on portion control for me. Okay, you don't have to do that. You could add in 6, 8, however many will fit on the tray you can add in. It's perfectly fine. But I'm doing 12 ounces, which is 4 servings. I'm going to take those up here and we're going to cut them into chunks. So what I usually do is just put them in four little chunks. I'll throw them back in my bowl. And they've already been washed. If you have any spots on them, you can remove those. All right. All right, perfect. Now we're gonna drizzle these with a little bit of olive oil. The entire dish is gonna use about a 1/4 cup of olive oil, and we're gonna spread it out throughout the vegetables and the potatoes. So about a tablespoon or so on the potatoes. And then I also like to salt and pepper each part of the recipe. Okay, so I'm not just gonna sprinkle it on top. I'm gonna actually get the salt and pepper right on the potatoes. If you wanted to, you could also add a little bit of dried rosemary or even a little bit of fresh rosemary. But I'm gonna put the sprigs in whole, and we just get this hint of rosemary, and it's not too overpowering that way. All right, so I've got 1 teaspoon of salt and a 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. You can season however you like. You could add extra seasonings, that's fine. I'm just gonna sprinkle that over top. All right. And now let's get our pan. What I'm using is just the pan that comes with the oven, or any type of sheet pan will work for this. You want it to be at least 12 by 12 so everything will fit on there. But if you're using your oven, you could certainly use a larger one. It will fit in there. And then I'm just gonna mix these around to get the oil and the seasoning on and put them onto the sheet pan. Doesn't matter how they go in, just put them on. Okay. And now we are going to roast them on the highest temperature for 10 minutes while we prep and get the rest of our ingredients together. All right, so the potatoes are in. Now we're gonna turn the oven on. We wanna go to the air roast function, and we wanna take the temperature all the way up to 450 degrees, which is the highest setting, and then push the button to hit start. No need to preheat. The oven will preheat itself in a matter of a minute, I think. And we have the time here for 5. We want to go up on the time to 10 minutes. All right, there we go. Now, while that's going on, ordinarily I would start slicing my vegetables, but I already have those all done, and slice the onions. So let me talk about that real quick and we'll get those seasoned up. So I have 2 small zucchinis that I cut up into cubes, and they are about, I don't know, 2 inches by an inch or so. I mean, you don't have to be exact about that. You just don't want them too small or they're going to overcook, and if they're too big, they might not cook enough. So just want to kind of get them uniform in size. And then I have 1 yellow summer squash that I cut up the same way, and 1 red onion that I just sliced up, okay? Now you don't have to use a red onion. You can use any kind of onion you want. That's perfectly fine. You don't have to use the onion. That's perfectly fine too. No problems whatsoever. All right, so we're gonna drizzle these with a little bit of olive oil as well. So probably another tablespoon. And a little bit of salt and pepper. All right, that looks good. I'll mix those up in just a minute. All right, so the next thing we want to do, and can take a little bit of time, so I think we'll go ahead and do it now, is go ahead and get your bulb of garlic, and we're going to separate all the cloves and sort of smash them down. So I'm going to peel all of this. The easiest way, well, there's several ways to do this, but the easiest way that I find is just to take a knife, cut off the top, and then start to break the bulb apart. Some are more compressed than others, so sometimes it takes a little bit more effort, but usually they'll just come right off. And you want the whole bulb. It's not going to be overpowering because we will be cooking the garlic, and when the garlic is cooked, it gets a lot sweeter and it's much, much milder. If you wanted a more garlic pungent, punch in your sheet pan meal, then use some minced garlic. That would be fine too. All right, so I've got all the cloves out of the bulb here. And now what I do is I take off, there is a pointy end and then like I guess I would call it a stem end. I take the stem end off and then I just smash it. Now you could sit here and peel them and have whole pieces of garlic. I do not do that. I do not think it is worth the time, especially in this recipe. And then I'm just going to throw those in with the vegetables. So I'm going to do that for all of the cloves in the bulb. Let's go ahead and get our lemon cut up so that we are ready to complete the sheet pan meal for the rest of the cooking. So I have 2 lemons here, and what I'm going to do is take off the ends and just slice them. You don't have to be exact. I make them about 1/4 of an inch or so. All right, there we go. Let's get the seeds out of this one. Oh, it smells so good. All right, there we go. Push that over to the side. And now what I have here is 8 sprigs of fresh rosemary. And then, obviously I washed them because I grow them outside. I really recommend using the fresh rosemary in this recipe and not just a dried rosemary. But if you're in a pinch, you can certainly just sprinkle maybe, I would say 2 teaspoons of rosemary, mix it in with the vegetables, sprinkle it over the potatoes, and also season your chicken with it. All right, so let's get to talking about the chicken, and then I'll get those potatoes out. So what I have here are 2 chicken breasts, and they are about 8 ounces a piece. This one's a little bit bigger, so I think it's about 9 ounces. I trim them up. That's what I'm using because I'm doing portion control, so I'm doing 4 ounces is 1 serving. This recipe feeds 4. You can use bigger chicken breasts. You can use 3 chicken breasts or 4. Whatever you can fit on the tray is perfectly fine. The timing will be the same. The only thing that I would say is try to get the chicken to be uniform in shape. So if you have a really thick piece of chicken and a really thin piece of chicken, they're not going to cook at the same time. You're going to have to take the thin piece out, and then of course it will cool down before the thick piece is done. So just try to get them uniform, especially the thickness. That really makes a difference. All right, so for this, what I'm going to do is drizzle with a little bit of olive oil. That's not even a tablespoon. And then salt and pepper. And kind of rub it in there. And then I'm going to do the same thing. All right, that looks perfect. And I've got a little bit of salt and pepper left over and a little bit of olive oil still to use, and I will use that after I get the sheet pan meal all together. I'll just sprinkle it over top. All right, so you can see we've got some good browning starting, and this is the reason why I like to start my potatoes ahead of time, because I like them to be nice and brown like that. You can see that the tops and the sides are not quite as brown, so I usually flip them at this point so that more surface area gets on this pan. The pan does the browning. It's wonderful. So I'm just gonna move these around. All right, then I like to nestle a little bit of rosemary in between the potatoes. You don't have to be exact at all. I don't use lemon with the potatoes. I do that mostly with the chicken because I love the flavor of infused lemon with the chicken. All right, so now our vegetables. We've already got the oil and the salt and pepper in, so I'm gonna go ahead and just sort of toss them around a little bit. The onions I like to be under the chicken too. So I usually take some out and throw those where I'm gonna put the chicken. So I'm gonna put those just like that. And then the rest of the vegetables go right next to the potatoes. These sheet pan meals are so beautiful too. Oh my gosh. All right, so I definitely stick some rosemary in with the veggies as well. And now I'm gonna put a little bit of rosemary down on top here. We're gonna put some lemon. All right, looks good. Now we're gonna get our chicken. Put one right there. Put one right here. Okay, perfect. Lovely. And then we also want to put some more rosemary. You can put it on top if you wanted to. Let's do that. And then cover with the lemons, okay? That really makes a huge difference in infusing the lemon flavor into the chicken. All right, perfect. Okay, let me just clean up here a little bit, and we're gonna do the rest of the oil over top and a little bit more salt and pepper, and then we're gonna get it into bake at 325 degrees for between 20 and 25 minutes. That will depend on your chicken. All right, so let's go ahead and set the bake function. And we want to set the temp down to 325. And the time we want to go for 25 minutes, but we are going to check it at 20 minutes and do a temperature on the chicken to see how we're progressing. And then what I like to do is take the chicken out when it's done. Take the chicken out, and then I put it on either that high roast again, or you could use broil, that would be fine, for, between 5 and 10 minutes until everything is really nice and roasted. This will cook the vegetables and the chicken and the inside of the potatoes, but we don't get a lot of browning at a temperature of 325. Personally, I don't like browning on my chicken. It makes the chicken breast tough. So I like to cook it at a lower temperature, take that out, let it rest, and then brown up those veggies. All right, so we have about 4.5 minutes left, and I'm gonna take these out. Oh my gosh, everything looks so good. All right, now I'm gonna take a temp, and we are at about 130. So we still have a little ways to go. And that one's at about 145. Yep. So we definitely need to go the remaining time. So I'm gonna close this up, let the time run out, do another temp. If your chicken is not up to 160, 162, cook it a little bit longer. Keep it at the right at this temperature and cook it a little bit longer until it comes up to between 160, 162. Then you can safely take it out, and it will continue to increase in temperature up to the 165 as it rests. All right, there we go. So let me go ahead and open this door up, and I'm just gonna slide this out a little bit. We're gonna check the temp on our chicken, and if it's not done, we'll just put it on for another few minutes. I'm sitting at about 150 on both of them now. So I'm gonna go ahead and go for another couple minutes. Now you could also increase the temperature at this point if you wanted to, or I could even probably do the broil step and be fine. But I really don't like my chicken to get that hard coating when it's a chicken breast. So I'm gonna stick with the plan here, and we're gonna go to the bake again. Temp 325, but the time, maybe 5 minutes. These are the adjustments that you always have to make when you're cooking, because not everything is going to be exact. Your chicken could be a little bit thinner and it would have been done at the 20 minutes, or it could be a little bit thicker and it won't be done, you know, for 35 minutes. If you have a thicker piece of chicken, I would go ahead and increase the temperature up to 350, so it doesn't take so long for you to make dinner. But anyway, we're gonna go this 5 minutes and then I'll get the chicken out to rest and we will broil up those veggies. All right, let's go ahead and check that chicken. It smells amazing in here. Oh my goodness. All right, let's see here. All right, we are at 163 on that one. That's perfect. And we are at 165 on this one. So we are good to go. The chicken can come out, and I'm not even gonna remove the pan. I'm just gonna take the chicken out. Let's throw the rosemary back in though. Keep that going there. All right, I am going to pull the pan out. I just thought about this. I want to look at those. I want to look at the potatoes back here. Do I need to move them? No. They did not get brown again on this side because we were under such a low temperature. So we're good to go. Now I'm just going to move these around to kind of put them in a single layer so they can roast up. It smells so good. Okay, again, you could go on broil, you could go on the high roast. It really doesn't make any difference. I just usually go to broil. We'll go for 5 or 10 minutes. We will let the vegetables tell us when they are ready, when they are nice and brown, and then we will plate up and get to tasting. All right, so let's go ahead and check on these and see. You're getting some browning, but I think I can go a little bit longer. Yep, even the vegetables can handle it. So that's what I'm gonna do because I like a nice little char on my vegetables. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep it going for the rest of the 5 minutes and then we will take it out and we'll get it plated up and I'll give it a taste. All right, so we have some beautiful browning on these vegetables. This is what I'm talking about. This makes these vegetables so flavorful. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. All right, so let me go ahead and cut my chicken because remember, portion control, and so I'm not gonna eat the whole chicken, I'm gonna eat half of it. Usually because this side is thinner, this side is thicker, I don't go directly in the middle. I kind of give this a little bit more room on that side. All right, let's see. How is it cooked? You're going to see it before me. I bet it's gorgeous. All right, so let's go ahead. I'll take the thinner end. I usually give that to Jeff, but I'll take the thinner end. I hate dry chicken. So that's why I usually get the bigger end because I know that's not going to be overcooked. But I'm going to take this one for you guys so that I can tell you if it's cooked all the way, you know, and not dry. All right, so let's go ahead. Now you can squeeze the lemon on the vegetables, which I probably will do. But right now I'm just gonna switch gears here and put that chicken. Oh yes, it does. It looks gorgeous. Oh my gosh, this is like one of my favorite things to make. All right, so I'm just gonna take a few potatoes. 4 of them would be a portion. And some veggies. Make sure I have some zucchini, some squash, some onion, and even one of those huge garlic cloves. You know, mushrooms would have been good too here. All right, I think that's it. So let me go ahead and taste it. Start with this end of the chicken. Now, if this turned out the way it should, I'm gonna have a slight lemon and rosemary flavor in the chicken. Perfect. Oh my gosh, that's perfect. It is so tender, it is so moist, it is not dry at all. Now, this is the notorious side that always is really dry, but it does not look dry either. This is perfect. Oh, I'm so excited. That right there is the perfect chicken breast. 325 for 25 to 30 minutes, whatever you need to cook it. Keep it low. Oh my gosh, it is so moist. It is so, so wonderful. All right, now the potatoes. If they're cooked the way I like them, they're gonna be soft inside and they're gonna have a little bit of a crunch on the outside. They're definitely soft. I hope they're not too hot. Here we go. Oh, they smell so good. Oh, I'm so excited about this one. All right, zucchini. Perfect. It is the perfect texture. It's soft, but it's not soggy. You know, it's got a little bite. It's full of flavor. Oh my goodness. I forgot to put the lemon on. It's still delicious. You get a little tiny bit of lemon, not too much, because obviously we were concentrating that over with the chicken. All right. So I just want to prove to you guys that these are really good and edible. Here goes. Simply amazing. I love this meal. It is quick, it is easy, it is fresh, it is healthy, and it is delicious. Switch things up if you want. You might need to change your times though, okay? Because these are all calibrated based on these ingredients. So like, let's say if you wanted to add in asparagus or something like that, you may need to add the asparagus a little bit later. It might cook quicker. So those are the kind of things that you think about when you want to modify a recipe. But if you want to do it this way, these times and temperatures, you're good to go.